I, 30F, am injured and I think it's making my partner, M38, hate me. Long. My partner and I have been together for about 3 years. I'm injured and I, 30F, think it's making my partner, 38M, hate me. For the past 3 months I've been dealing with back pain that has turned into a major issue in the past 2 weeks. I struggle to walk, I can't sit in a chair, and worst of all I scream a horrible blood-curdling scream every time I try to stand up and often when I try to sit down. It is so bad that I am embarrassed to go out in public. I've basically been bedridden for the past 6 days. My doctor's office is being very slow and it is frustrating. I am becoming depressed because of the pain and my lack of ability to do anything besides lay here. Note: my partner has muscular dystrophy. He is very functional and not in a wheelchair, but his life is still made complex by the genetic disease and it does cause him pain. He told me a long time ago that he did not want to be with someone who is grievously, terminally sick or injured because he is already disabled and didn't want to care for them. I tried to ask him to go into depths about the rules and regulations for this, but I didn't get a lot of information. Most I remember is if I break a femur that's okay, and cancer is also probably okay, but it depends. I'm sure there is a lot more depth to this, but it is a conversation that has scared me. Ever since we had made our relationship official I have known that his disease is degenerative and he will one day be in a wheelchair, but that did not make me feel like I would want to leave him when that happens. Anyways, I've been out of work for less than a month, but it looks like it's going to be a bit longer as I don't even have a diagnosis yet, much less a treatment plan. My partner doesn't seem to see it, but he is very short and angry with me. He is constantly telling me what to do in a very authoritative way which makes me feel like a child. He is constantly telling me that I need to take it easy and rest, but when I ask him for help he gets frustrated. It's gotten to the point that I don't want to ask him for anything, and when I do I just want to cry and I apologize the whole time and then try to tell him how grateful I am for him. Often he vocalizes that this behavior is also frustrating for him. Last night I asked him if it would be easier for me to go stay with my family while I figure this out. They are 6 hours away. He went on a long tirade about how this situation is very frustrating for him and that he wasn't going to say that he was happy about it, and that he didn't like that it felt like I was using the question to gauge whether he wants me here or not, but that he didn't want me to leave. Today he had to go pick up prescriptions for me and go to the grocery store, and I knew he was going to come home frustrated. IDK if I mentioned that I cannot get into my car, much less drive it. He was frustrated by my list. I tried to ask for frozen, pre-made foods because I cannot cook or chop things. He was overwhelmed at the grocery store, and he didn't want to get any CBD products I was wanting. I apologized for these things but then was told that my apologies were frustrating. I'll admit that when I feel guilty I over-apologize, but I just wish I hadn't asked him to get anything and stuck with my original plan of white-knuckling it to the store and back on my own. As I was putting away the groceries, which causes me a huge amount of pain, we got in an argument about how I talk to my DRS office and pharmacy on the phone. Not because I am mean to them, or unkind, or that I'm not being courteous. But because I am not streamlining the conversations in the way he would, and because I am not adding jokes to make the conversations more enjoyable for the person on the other end. He was also upset when I snapped at him and told him to hold on because I was trying to talk to the pharmacist at the same time that he was telling me how to talk to the pharmacist. He hasn't spoken to me since then except to tell me my hair was clogging the sink drain and that it was gross and a pain to clean. I am so depressed because on this injury. I literally cannot go anywhere because I cannot drive even if I had somewhere to go. I don't think I would make it in my car the 6 hours to my family. I feel like no matter what is happening he is going to either talk to me like a stupid child or get mad at me, all while I am hobbling around trying to take care of my basic needs because I'm too afraid to ask him for help. I want to cry, I want to hide, I want to run away. IDK what this post is even for. I guess I just don't have anyone to talk to. I feel like an unwelcome, burdensome guest and I feel like all of my happiness and enthusiasm and love and passion is being sucked out of me, both by my injury and by my partner. I'm writing this wanting to cry, but because I am stuck in the recliner chair in the living room, it would just start an argument again. IDK what I want. Advice? Validation? Someone to tell me I'm in the wrong and how to fix it so I can get out of this pit of despair. Thanks for reading. It sounds like he wanted a caregiver, not a partner, and now that he's being asked to step up, he's out. Go to the Do you have friends or family that you can stay with who can help you? I am disabled. I would be moving hell to get answers if my partner became injured like this. He's using his disability to make himself not feel bad about being a POS. Go home to your family and break up. He actually told you he won't stick by you if you get sick, and yet just by being with him that's what you know you will be doing for him. You can't fix it. What was he like before you got hurt? Because from this it sounds like he doesn't like you at all and wants you to know what an inconvenience he thinks you are. I think you should definitely reach out to your family so you can get where you have a support system and can get better and get back to work. You need to drop this immature boy, and find someone who really cares about you, and loves you. He's 38, and behaving like a 12-year-old. Go to the hospital. Right fucking now. Also, I don't see much future in the relationship. It's not a question of if but when you get sick and or disabled. This is your preview to no support from your partner. My 23M new girlfriend, 22F, grinded on another guy in front of me. I live in NYC and I started hooking up with this girl from Hinge about a month and a half ago. It was originally just a hookup, but we quickly started spending a lot of time together aside from just sex. We started sleeping over often and it was pretty easy to tell we both had feelings for each other. Last week after having sex, I confronted her about our feelings for each other. I asked her to be my girlfriend and she agreed. Maybe it's naive, but I felt something special between us. A few days after that, she invited me to her friend's birthday party at a club. I'm not much of a club person anymore, but she is and goes out way more often than me. She invited one of her coworkers from her new job. She told me about him beforehand and said that he was gay. I also thought that he was gay by the way he dressed and his mannerisms, but it came up in conversation and we both heard him say that he is straight. Once we were at the club, she was dancing on me for a little bit, but I'm not much of a dancer and I went to step aside for a moment. Shortly after, when I looked back, she's grinding on top of her coworker. I was incredibly hurt and in total shock that she would do this, because I believe it should be common sense that this is not okay, regardless if he's gay, which he said that he's not. I turned around and left, and was just planning on breaking things off and never speaking to her again. Part of me felt like I should say something before leaving, so I went back and told her. She realized that this had hurt me and that she messed up. She chased after me in the club and kept reassuring me that she thinks he's gay, that she's not attracted to him, and that she just wanted to dance with him because he didn't know anyone else there and wanted him to be included. She said that this is how she is used to dancing and that to her it is no more than just dancing. I told her that I think we want different things because I would never do this to her, and I told her we probably shouldn't be together, so I just left the club. She went after me and also left the club, trying to hug me and kissing my neck, but I wasn't having any of it. She reassured me multiple times that she does really care about me and that she realized that she messed up and that she would never grind on another guy again. I said I wanted to just go home alone, but she wouldn't let me and she ordered us an Uber. We went back to her place and she kept talking with me for hours about how she's sorry, about how I shouldn't be insecure about anything because she's not attracted to the guy and that she really likes me, etc. I decided to let it go. I have brought it up with her a few more times since then and it's just the same back and forth. She admits she was wrong and that it was dumb and that she won't do it again. It still bothers me a lot, but I feel bad bringing it up again because I can tell the conversation is emotionally draining and there is not much more for her to say. I feel very attached to her, maybe too attached for the short time we have spent together, so this deeply hurt me. I find myself thinking of her and I feel happy we are together, but then I get the memory of her grinding on another guy right in front of me and I feel awful and disgusted. It makes me feel really stupid, that I'm caring so much about a girl when she was willing to grind on another guy right in front of me. We should have set these boundaries beforehand. Lesson learned. But I still find it a red flag that this even happened to begin with. She is a party girl and hasn't been in a relationship in years, so I can understand that this was probably an honest mistake, and she took all the right steps to fix it, but I still find myself thinking about it and feeling gross. Maybe some people will call me insecure, but I'm not sure what to do. I can't get the thought of it happening right in front of me out of my head. I really like this girl, but this is driving me insane. Should I break things off with her before things go further? Would other people find this a deal breaker, or am I just being insecure? And #X200B. Edit. I want to thank everyone for the comments. It has really made it clear to me that this is not just me being insecure and that this is a very big red flag. I do want to say, however, that everyone seems to be a bit too harsh towards this girl. I don't think she did it with malicious intent, and her apologies have been very sincere since this happened. I am going to talk with her again about this and make sure that we are on the same page about being in a committed relationship. With regards to the differences in our lifestyles, she has mentioned that she does not always like to go out this much but has been waiting on this summer for a while. She starts grad school in August and said she will be focusing on school after that. I know many of you will call me stupid for this, probably because you have seen situations like these go to shit in the past, but I really like this girl and I do think people deserve second chances. If she'll be so bold as to grind on her coworker in front of you, then what do you think she does when you're not there? This is not about being insecure. This is about being disrespected. Her saying he's gay and that she's not attracted to him are pure lies and gaslighting. You know what's going on and you know what you need to do. I think he's gay and I'm not attracted to him. Ah yes, the classic smokescreens have been deployed. Don't stay in a relationship just because you're afraid of being alone. As you said, you want different things. Ignoring the breakup able offense, let's look at this objectively. She is a big club goer. You are not. You both are in your early 20s. There will be more bad behavior from her. I guarantee. Are you ready to sign up to that? Dump that slag and block her number. Just imagine how she will behave when you aren't there. My 23M new girlfriend, 22F, grinded on another guy in front of me. The title must be wrong, it should be my ex-girlfriend grinded on. So you have to set boundaries like that in a couple? Like it's not something the word couple implies. I didn't cheat, there were 4, and Article 4 Chapter 7 Alinéa 94 didn't clearly express cheating if N+1 people are involved. You may like her, but I suggest you really dig her meaning of a relationship. My 35F husband, 41M, went to work early, but is actually meeting up with someone behind my back. We've been together for 7 years. Generally, things are good, but he just can't seem to stop sleeping with others behind my back. We've been battling with infidelity since the beginning. I remember catching him the first time, only a few months into our relationship, and after a lot of crying and arguing, we made a written plan outlining the exact circumstances that are okay and those that are not. Basically, it boiled down to this. If he was open with me about who he chatted with and forthcoming about his plans to meet up before it happens, I'm okay with him hooking up with others. The key here is that I'm informed. I don't want to know because I'm nosy. I want to know because doing things behind my back completely demolishes the trust we have for each other, and that makes me feel emotionally unsafe in our relationship. In addition, knowing who and when would make me feel physically more comfortable. I wouldn't have to wonder the details. Wonder what I'm at risk of catching. Wonder where he really is. Wonder if I should go out of my way to make it extra spicy tonight since we didn't get down the day prior. That agreement was upheld twice. I was jealous, but I played it off, let it happen, and let it go. Part of me was a little bit proud. One of those instances turned into a recurring meetup. I knew that's what he desired, as to feel comfortable with someone rather than awkward new meetings every time. And we had previously discussed that it was okay so long as other boundaries were not crossed. These boundaries were written and explicit. One day he was over at her house and he spent more time than I had expected. I became increasingly anxious about what was going on. An intimacy line was crossed that day. Rather than simply a hookup, they lounged and cuddled watching a movie for the afternoon. I was hurt. It's been nearly 7 years and it still upsets me. I was very open to a compromising solution for his need to hook up, but he explicitly broke the rules. After that incident, we reiterated what was acceptable and what was not, and he respected my wishes to not see her again, I think. For several years after that, I stalked his every move. I tracked his phone and knew where he was at all times. Heck, I even pulled phone records to see who he was talking to. He didn't know, of course. But because of the bad experience with him crossing the line prior, he said it wasn't for him and he wasn't going to hook up with anyone anymore. That was a lie. He'd talk to people daily and he'd meet up with people at least a couple times per week. I saw all of this. Occasionally, I'd confront him, but he'd squirm out of the conversation and I'd drop it as a losing battle. Nearly 2 years ago, I stopped tracking him. It was all too consuming and distracting me from my responsibilities. I wasn't getting anything out of it. The past 18 months or so have been tough on us from every angle of our lives. We've been extremely busy and that, I think, in part, has prohibited him from seeking entertainment elsewhere. I don't know for sure, because I stopped tracking, but I generally felt like he stopped. Until today. Today, he got up earlier than usual to head to our shop, We've owned a store for the past 4 years. I woke up and out of the corner of my eye I saw him trimming up down there in the bathroom before he hopped in the shower. Red flag 1. He hopped out of the shower and put on decently nice clothes, better than what he would normally wear when doing early morning chores. Red flag 2. He seemed in a hurry. Red flag 3, and I asked why. He said he needed to do a bunch of chores before we head out of town this afternoon. I get it, but based on what I know needs done, it's nothing to be in a hurry for. I let it go. I logged into the cameras at our shop and he was there for less than 5 minutes before leaving. He's now been gone for about an hour. All the red flags make me feel certain that he's meeting up with someone. I don't care about the why. But I do care that I have constantly been lied to our entire relationship. It's getting very old. All this to ask for advice on how to confront this. It's unfortunate that it's happening right before we go out of town starting this afternoon. It's ruining our intimate time together because, 1. I'm mad about it and, 2. I don't have any idea where it has been. Any advice on how I confront this? I'm really getting tired of it. I'm willing to give a really long lead, I just ask for transparency in return. I'm not getting it. I know why, because he's uncomfortable with telling me. But it's obviously not so uncomfortable that he decides not to meet up. He just continues to deceive. I'm getting to a point where I feel hopeless. Other than this, I think we have a great relationship. However, resentment is starting to grow as I feel incredibly disrespected. You should have walked away a long time ago. Generally, things are good, but he just can't seem to stop sleeping with others behind my back. This line does not make sense. This relationship isn't worth saving in my opinion. You are miserable, and he's not going to change. Pro tip. This, generally, things are good, does not go with, he just can't seem to stop sleeping with others. I don't think he's uncomfortable with telling you. I think he just doesn't want to tell you. Maybe that's because sneaking around is part of the fun, or maybe he just doesn't care. Whatever the reason, if you want to stay with him, you need to accept that you will never fully know what he's up to, because he's never going to change, and find a way to live with that. If you've had enough of that, and it sounds like you have, then it's past time to adjust your standards for what constitutes a great relationship and go. I, M37, told my girlfriend, F25, no more girls trips. Hey, so I need some advice. For some backstory, my girlfriend and I have been dating for almost 2 years and our relationship has been solid. Very solid. We can't get enough of each other and haven't had any real arguments except the one I'm about to tell you. So since the beginning of our relationship we always talked about going on a cool trip together. After coming up with some cool ideas we agreed that going to see the redwoods in Cali would be a ton of fun. I had 2 free flights with Southwest, so we always plans on keeping it in the US. We never booked anything but kinda decided on doing that one day soon. A month or so pass and my girlfriend's best friend, 25F, decides to move out there. I bring up one day that we can go see the redwoods and then visit her while we're out there, and my girlfriend thinks it's a great idea. Then another few months pass and my girlfriend graduates college. To celebrate we decide to make it a bigger trip and decide to go international. We book our flights and we're both super excited. 3 weeks or so after booking our flights I go over to my girlfriend's house one night for dinner, and at the dinner table her mom brings up if she's excited about the new trip with her friend. That's how I found out that she booked a trip to go see her friend without saying a thing to me. I think it's pretty reasonable to be upset at your girlfriend for booking a trip across the country without telling you. Every trip in the past she's always just let me know and it's never been a problem. She explained that it was in the moment, she was excited, and that she got it 30 minutes before I had gotten there, so she never had the time to tell me. I just said that it should be a conversation before you book it, and she agreed that she'd be upset too if I had done that. Time passes, we had our trip first, which was amazing. We both had a great time. But after coming back home and leading up to when she was supposed to go on her trip we got into some arguments about it. A week or so before the trip though she got in a bad accident. She got T-boned by a dump truck. Totaled her car, fractured a rib, and had a small seizure and had her heart rate dropped to 30 bpm. She was also dog-sitting 2 dogs, one was fine but the other fractured his spine. She even got her license suspended because of the seizure. Obviously the trip got cancelled. Anyway, 2 weeks pass and my girlfriend tells me she's gonna book the trip again for the end of the month. Just 4 weeks after the accident. We end up arguing again because I think it's pretty immature to replan the trip after not having a car, Having to pay medical bills, having a broken rib and a seizure, and having put someone else's dog in a full body cast. I never told her word for word that I didn't want her to go on the trip because I didn't want to seem controlling and I wanted her to come to that conclusion on her own, but I definitely let her know that I wasn't happy about it. I told her it might help if she talked to a family member or friend about the situation to get a different perspective. I did. After talking with some of her friends about it all, she said that she understands why I'm upset but that her opinion is just as valid as mine, and that she should be able to go hang out with her friends. Obviously I agree that she can hang out with friends and that her opinion matters just as much as mine. I just think that's not even what the problem is. She decided that she should be able to go. She booked the trip and ended up going. I was pretty upset and we argued over text or on the phone a majority of it. When she came home she said that I never said she couldn't go. So to make it as clear as I could and after everything that has happened I said that if you want to go on any more week-long girls' trips across country spontaneously and after a car accident that you can do it with another boyfriend. She agreed that she wouldn't do it again. So what does everyone think the solution is? Am I being controlling? Edit. I understand that no more trips is a bit ridiculous. And I don't agree with it. I was frustrated in the moment. Also we do live together, we do share finances, and she went on the trip 4 weeks after the accident, still with a broken rib. Now it's been 3 months since the accident and she's only been able to work maybe 2 days a week if that, if she can get a ride. And it doesn't look like she'll be able to get her license back for at least another month and a half. She has a bunch of neurology and cardiology tests that she has to pass before she can apply to get her license back. I'm a 34 meters with 2 kids and a wife. Just for context, I'm also a fairly conservative person. If I was your girlfriend I would be running for the hills for a breakup. You crave control so much it's insane. I couldn't follow any of your reasonings. Your title is misleading, and most of the comments are going against you because of the first impression they got reading the title than because they really read your story. Yes, you are being controlling. You were very careful with your wording to try to represent that her not going on a trip was about more than you not wanting her to leave you or do things without your permission, but your underlying need to control her was clear. Had you only been upset about the second trip, I would have been more apt to believe your rationale regarding money and having just been in an accident, but you were mad about the first trip when she just wanted to go visit a friend which she told you about. She doesn't need your permission for either trip. The fact that you think she does is controlling. You can weasel word it however you want, but the bottom line is you want her to make the decision you decided on, and that is controlling. Yeah, don't sweat it op. Her decision was not reasonable considering she is in a relationship now and considering her situation. She also complained that you never told her she couldn't go. Like that would have gone over well. Face with rolling eyes. So if she needs someone to run her life, then so be it, lay it down. If she doesn't like it she can break up with you. /? Am I being controlling? And #X200B. Yes.